Greetings to everyone at CBC. It's wonderful to be in this kind of communication with you again. My name is Steve Jones. I was your pastor from 1984 to 1992, and we had 9 glorious years together. Some real exciting things happened, I think, to all of us during those years that we shared. I've been asked by your stewardship team to talk a little bit about the relationship between Central Baptist Church and Ennerdale Baptist Church in South Africa and the Ennerdale partners that came in as a result of that. After we had been at CBC for some time, we were given a sabbatical and we chose to go to South Africa. At that very same time, the Philadelphia Baptist Association was entering into a partnership with the Baptist Convention of Southern Africa, which was largely a convention of black and colored churches in that country. And so Andy Smith and the 4 Joneses went together to South Africa along with some other folks from the PBA. We spent 2 weeks traveling around the country getting to know the Baptist Convention. And most of them had left by this point. I think Andy stayed a little bit longer. But while Andy was still there, one day Jan and Janelle and myself, we were walking a street in downtown Joburg, and we were jumped by a group of young adolescents. 6, 8 young boys jumped us. They wanted our passports and the like, and we fought them off and screamed and yelled and did everything we could, and they finally left us. But after they had left us, we were a little shaken up, as you can imagine, and I looked at the back of my hand, it had been cut. And so we walked on to the Baptist Convention offices. By the time we got there, they discovered that we had had this happen to us. They felt very embarrassed that it had happened while we were visiting their country, and our wounds needed to be bandaged. And a person who happened to be visiting the office while all of this was going on was Desmond Hoffmeister. Desmond met us for the very first time, learned what we were there to do. Our intent was to live with Baptist pastors in South Africa. And so he said, well, you're coming home with me. So get in my car, and we loaded up, and we went to pick up his wife, Beverly, who worked at an insurance company. And I never will forget the image of Desmond knocking on the door, ringing the bell at this place. And she came out, and he explained to her that he had this white family out in his car. And I never will forget her kind of peering over his shoulder to look back to see us. We sort of waved. And she went back, and they went into sort of intense conversation. But eventually, I guess she agreed, and we went to their home. We stayed in their home for some time. We also lived with other Baptist pastors in South Africa, and we moved around some. But Ennerdale was sort of our home base. We got to know the lay people, the church, the township, as well, of course, as the Hoffmeister family, both families living together in a very small cottage. So we came home with this experience of Ennerdale and, of course, shared that with CBC, our excitement over the mission of this particular congregation. 2 other interactions happened with Ennerdale. One was that Jack Bruce, who is Beverly Hoffmeister's brother, came to Philadelphia with the ANC to do a leadership training sabbatical for 3 months. And while he was there, we had him come out to CBC. He's the musician who taught the South African songs, some of which I think you might still sing. And then the other interaction we had was with Beth Ward. There was the Baptist Youth Congress going on in Zimbabwe, and we sent Beth Ward as our representative of that, all by her lonesome, halfway around the world. If my memory serves me right, Beth went into Ennerdale, met Sidoni, a young girl her age, and together they went to the Baptist Youth Congress. And I'll never forget the letter that Sidoni sent Beth afterwards, saying what an incredible life-changing friendship she'd had with Beth and how she couldn't believe that a colored girl from South Africa and a white girl from the United States could actually meet each other and become friends. So we've had all those interactions as well. We had some economic development projects that we wanted to do, some other kinds of partnership things, and so we worked on those together, and the Ennerdale partners who were members of CBC who wanted to respond to this issue gave some leadership in that area. Desmond and Beverly came to CBC while we were there. He preached at CBC while we were there, and I think maybe he's actually preached there a couple of times since. And they've had a strong and warm relationship with the congregation over the years. He's now the pastor of Grenada Hills Baptist Church in Los Angeles, and we continue to be close friends with them. Well, that's the mission, along with the partnership in Santa Elena with Reverend Arnoldo Rodriguez. it began to give CBC, I think, a broader view through these partnerships of the world around us and how we could develop deep relationships with people of faith in other places and what we could learn from them. I wish you the very best as a congregation and as you look forward to this next year of giving and responding in the great tradition of CBC. God bless you all.